Shalom. Shalom, Yashua. Before this starts, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, the one to the apostles of the great millstone, who rule well and teach well, the only one certified to teach 100% truth of the Bible. A sincere shalom to the Akim out there pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. A sincere shalom to the Akwath out there learning in silence. My name is Baynash Pasha, and I'm back with another lesson. It's a breakdown of Genesis 1, because most of us brothers that came in through this, we came from that plantation Christianity stuff. Hold on, this is just making sure. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put that on, because plantation Christianity, you just read this verbatim and think that's what it is, but truthfully, through the prophets of the true men of the Lord, the apostles of the great millstone, they're the ones that broke this down for us to properly understand. So with that, you just go over what the teaching from Apostle Tahar on downward, and just starting here. Actually, let me go ahead and get inside the blue letter. So this is going into the creation, verse 1, in the beginning. If you read it verbatim, it's in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And immediately plantation Christianity gets this wrong off rip, because they're thinking that God is talking about it's talking about the Most High, but in this case it's not, because you go here into the interlinear, and right here, this is even the Blue Letter Bible gets this wrong. This is the Hebrew word for it. This is coming off of the Yiddish thing right here, so it's not fully Hebrew. They put it as Elohim, but in all truth, it's Alahayim. And just to show you how that's written, if you go ahead and write it here, it's Alahayim. Alright? So that's Alahayim. That's how you pronounce it. And what that means is the rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. This part it got right, but it puts that as Elohim. That's incorrect. It's Alahayim. Right here. The outline of the biblical usage is rulers, judges, divine ones, angels. That's going into the 144,000. The angels along with Yahushai. Boom, right then and there. They were the ones that built everything. So in the beginning, swap out God for Alahayim, which means the rulers, the judges. In the beginning, Alahayim created the heavens and the earth. Alright? And the earth was without form and void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep. Okay? So in this time, this was basically the building blocks of the earth. Nothing was there yet, as we know the earth now. It wasn't, it was bare, without form and void. Alright? And the spirit of Alahayim moved upon the face of the waters. And Alahayim said, "Let there be light," and there was a light. Now even this gets misconstrued as well, because this light is not going into the sun just yet. But as Apostle Tahar brought on out, and there's an old video of him breaking this down. In that video, he was talking about how science proved that if you looked inside the atoms, that there was a glow to them. It's not glowing as strong as it did beforehand, but it is some elements had a glow or an aura around it, and that was that light that it's speaking of. In verse 4, and Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. So this is where it got to be one side was light and one side was dark. Okay? And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. All right? So already this is just, talking about, again, night and day, but still the sun and the stars were not even created. The firmament wasn't even created yet. So this is all way before any of that were to happen. But the elements themselves, they had the glow to them that would light up part of the earth. It was a low light, And this part that's talking about in the evening and the morning were the first day. If you go to 2 Peter 3, verse 8, this is how, I'll start at verse 7. But the heavens and but the heavens and the earth, which are now, but the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. So now you're getting the timeline of how the Lord sees time versus our ability to see time, because the Lord is he's a higher form than us, so we can't fathom things on his scale, but this is a way for us to be able to fathom it on his scale. So this verse in Genesis 1 verse 8, it's like in 5, and the evening and the morning were the first day. That's the first 1,000 years. All right, that's the first 1,000 years. And you'll see as it keeps going on, it keeps track of all the 1,000 days, the 1,000 years, So the earth itself was not created in what you believe to be 7 days. It took 7,000 years. Really, it took 6,000, and on the 7,000, the Lord rested. All right. So, verse 6, and the Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. All right. So even in this, let's go ahead. Let's see. Yeah, the firmament right here. Actually, let me go ahead. Add to the expanse of space above the earth where the heavenly bodies move, the arch or the vault of the heavens, a visible sky. That's what is really going into in this verse right here. Let there be a firmament or a space in the midst of the waters. Let it divide the waters from the waters, And that the waters was let me see if it'll pop up. If it's gonna pop up here. The waters. Okay, so it's not propping up with the proper Hebrew. Proper Hebrew is shemayim for the waters. All right, and even the outline of the biblical usage is incorrect. It's the space of the heavens. It's like the atmospheres or space. It's just space. So the firmament was it's the separation between like the higher waters and the lower waters. So there's a higher, like the space here and the space that's out. So what you would call outer space versus the atmosphere versus the air you breathe here, because they're all separated. You can't be in the atmosphere and ingest that and live, just like you can't be out in space and try to ingest that and live. It's just not going to work. There's a separation of it. So down here, that's the separation. Verse 7, and Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters were above the firmament, and it was so. And Elohim called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So there you go, with the second 1,000 years. So the creating all of this took that time. The Lord takes his time with all these things, So that's the 2,000 years that passed. Because this is on the Lord's time that it's happening. It's not happening on our time just yet. And verse 9. And Elohim said, let the waters under heaven be gathered together into one place. And this is talking about the actual waters here now. So there's one side where the water is all together. Because the earth back then, if you look at top map of not only the world. So this is basically, this is how the world looked. This is how everything looked. If you look at it. If you look at Africa, South Africa connects to it like it's one big old piece, and that's because it was one big old piece. All the pieces connect as one. So this was one side of the waters, verse 9. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. So that's what that was. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and gathering together of the waters he called the seas. And Elohim saw that it was good, and that what caused that separation of this into this was the floods of Noah. All right, the flooding of Noah was the first time the Lord judged the whole earth, and the second time he's going to judge the whole earth is with fire. All right, so once with water, second with fire. And that is what broke up the lands as it is now. Yeah, and the rest is just going into, this, before I knew I was missing something. The Elohim part, another precept to prove that Elohim here, it's not okay, I tapped the wrong word. Yeah, it's not Elohim, it's Elohim. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. Another precept to prove that was verse 26, right here. And Elohim said, let us. So already, why would the Most High be saying us if he's the only one? Right? That don't make no sense. So Elohim, the judges, the rulers, all together were in agreement and said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. That's a lot of plural for seemingly one being to talk, right? So that's how you know it's not just one. It's not just the Most High talking to himself. It's the angels, 144,000 talking with Yahushua in agreement. Yes, let's make man in our image after our likeness. All right. So going back to verse 9. verse 11, Salakia. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind. Okay? So what this is talking about, this is how you get the understanding of everything comes as it's supposed to, like you get an apple specifically from an apple tree. Now, in today's case, it seems pretty redundant to say that, but this is how you would get that order. The order had to come from somewhere, so it starts at the very beginning here, when everything's created. An apple gotta come from an apple tree, an orange gotta come from an orange tree, and so on and so on. And this is where it's showing that whose seed is in itself, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself. All right, that's how you can only be of your own kind. We ain't got no banana apples or whatnot. It's Anyway, verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after its kind. Also talking about the type of the seeds that you plant for the type of vegetation. Certain seeds will only bring about certain plants, and those plants are only going to produce those seeds. The beautiful cycle, so that things can be created. All right. Whose seed was in itself after its kind, and Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. So that's the third 1,000 years, if you keep in track. Or this is the 3,000th year that have passed in creating all these things. So with all the different varieties, with all the different plants, this is all the fauna being created at the time. The Lord took his time with developing each and every stage. That's why there's such intricacy and variety of everything. The Lord didn't just snap his fingers and it happened. No, he took very great care in building everything from the ground. Well, when I say he, I mean Elohim. We took great care in building everything from nothing. Out of something, with that spiritual power. Okay, took great care doing that. Verse 14. It's like it. And Elohim said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years." Now, at this point, it's whoa. What about verse 5 back here, where it said verse 4, let there be light. Now this verse over here, verse 14, is saying, let there be lights in the firmament. No, there's a separation between those two. Now, again, one is going into so atoms don't inherently glow on their own. They emit light when their electrons transition between energy levels after being excited by external energy source like heat, electricity, or radiation. That's the light that it was talking about. They emit that light just on the atomic scale. So the light was there beforehand. This light that it's talking about in verse 14, though, let there be lights in the firmament, like how we discussed that's the heavens, the sky. Well, what are the lights in the sky? Those are the stars. All right, and those are to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons. So the stars are the ones that are dividing the day and the night. Because you can only see the stars at night. You can't see the North Star during the day. If you go outside right now and look up, you'll see the sun, if it's daytime. But if it's nighttime, you're going to see stars. On a clear sky, no clouds. You're going to see stars out there. You're not going to see you're not going to see nothing. And you're not going to see just one big bright star, because then the daytime would be there. But this is the separation between day and night. Those are the stars out there for the signs and seasons. And Apostle Tar was talking about when they he was talking about the signs in the heavens, like comets and whatnot, would wash over. A lot of people see that, it's a shooting star or whatnot. That's not the case. Those are signs in the heavens that something is about to happen. And I forget the exact example that he went over of which specific battle, but there was a battle that a comet flew over, and that same comet came back in 1987. What comet was that? Comet 87. Halley's Comet, yeah. Halley's Comet, yeah. This one flew over around. He said it had 7 tails. Yeah, during its 1986 visit, it was observed to have at least 7 distinct tails. Now, that was the complete number. The 7 is a complete number, in the scriptures. So, that was like a warning. I forget the specific warning that he was talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and back to the video just to double check what it was, and I'll put it inside the comments later. But that point was about how the Lord was about to do something. It was a sign in the heavens, Let me see. Signs in the heavens. I know there's one. Nah. Okay. But yeah, that's talking about the stars and the other space outside, talking about the firmament in the sky. All right. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. All right. That's going to be that's the sun right there. All right. Let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made 2 great lights. All right. The greater light to rule the day, the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night, the moon. All right. And a lot of people were like, a lot of people don't believe that the moon is a light. But the scriptures tell us the moon is a light. Isaiah 30, verse 26. Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, and as the light of 7 days. And in the day that Yahweh bindeth up the breach of his people and healeth the stroke of the wounds. All right, so this is talking about the moon shall be as the light of the sun, but the sun shall be sevenfold. It's going to be greater than the moonlight. And obviously that's the case. Go outside. If the sun is up, everything is lit up. Everything, even the clouds covering everything's still lit up. All right. You look, and then when the sun falls and the moon comes out, hey, you can still see, just not as great, because the moonlight is not as strong. It's not meant to be as strong. Otherwise, there would be no rest. It's a similar light, but not the same. All right. one more for that is Ecclesiasticus 43, verse 7. Actually, verse 6, starting at verse 6. He made the moon also to serve her in a season for the declaration of times and a sign of the world. All right? Because sometimes the moon is going to be a sign unto us. You know, when the Lord is ready to come back, he said Slakia, I'm excited. The moon would be blood red. When the Lord is he's getting ready to come back. Hey, we've been seeing a blood moon recently, you know. It doesn't happen all the time, but the moon will be red, dark red, you know. And that's a sign that the Lord's, it's towards the end of the times, all right? And verse 7, the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection, all right? So that's 2 scriptures saying that, 3. Just that we brought out, saying, yes, the moon itself is a light. Okay? Let's go ahead and go back to Genesis 1. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. That's their purpose. The sun and the moon. A greater light, two great lights. The greater lights rule the day and the lesser lights rule the night. Why? He set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. All right. Yeah. Okay. Verse 19. And the evening and the morning that were the 4th days. Boom. It's 4,000 years now that have passed. Checkpoint. All right. In verse 20, and Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in open firmament of heaven. All right. And in this point here, this is where all living beasts were created. All of them. All right. Let me read it again. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life. All right. Humans are also moving creatures that have life. All right. Everything. One more time. Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. All right. And that fowl is just going into the birds, you know. Because if you look up what a fowl is, what is a fowl? Fowl. Boom. Fowl refers to birds, particularly those who are domesticated or hunted for food, such as chickens, ducks, and geese, and turkeys. It can also be used more broadly to refer to any bird. In more specific context, fowl can refer to the superorder Gallophosaura. I can't even pronounce that, which includes land fowl like chickens, turkeys, and waterfowl like ducks and geese. All right, so it can be applied to all birds. All right, all birds. So every moving creature that hath life, including humans. All right, so that's already a specific of everything being created. So it just in its lower estate, or specifically talking about humans, talking about it in a lower estate. All right. And Elohim created the whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and saw every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. And in the evening and the morning were the 5th day. All right. So that's 5,000 years now. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and the beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after his kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. Okay, so this is all the beasts, the cattle and whatnot, the cows, the lions, all that. All right, and upon this is where the Lord, this is where those powers, those judges, are now looking at the man like, hey, let's take this and do something different with it, right? Verse 26, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them that have dominion over the fish, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So what did they do? Verse 27, so Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him, male and female, he hath created them. Created he them. All right. So he took what was there and improved upon it, and made it that much more so in their image. You know, it wasn't just created from nothing; it was created from what was already there. Okay. And verse 28, and Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And Elohim said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all earth, and every tree, in which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl in the air, and to everything that creepeth on the earth, wherein there is life, I have given you every green herb for meat. And it was so. All right. So everything that was there was meant for us to be eaten, or meant for us to partake in. You know, it was meant for us to rule over. We had the things that we were allowed to eat. You know, all the food, the beasts that we were allowed to eat, and all the vegetation that we were allowed to eat. All right, and everything else we were meant to rule over. You know. And verse 31, and Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So boom, that's the 6,000 years it took to create this entire system. All right. Here you go back. It goes into the foundation of the earth. Then it goes into the foundation of the earth. Then it goes into the lights that would separate light and dark, the night and day. All right. Then it goes into the space, the living, the air and the atmosphere, the heavens, you know, and the separation between all of that. And then it goes into being then it creates the waters and the land. Then it creates the beasts. Then it creates the men, and then the woman. Okay. All in the 6,000 years, the Lord took his time with creating every single thing about us. You know. And that's just a quick little lesson. I'm gonna go ahead and add some other points in the comments, anything that I may have missed. But I'm trying to think what else could I bring out about this. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, well, it's not verbatim, but there's a difference in how the Hebrew takes a very big part of this that makes it make way more sense than what it used to be, you know? Because if you just read it verbatim as is, first off, you're just going off of what Esau has taught you about this thing, you know? That's how Esau reads it. He doesn't have the understanding, so of course it's gonna sound, incredibly there. It's not going to be as in depth as it's meant to be. So if the Lord's taking all of his time with all of these things and making it as in depth as it is, when you just read it, not even it's like when you just read it, or when you hear of how he built everything, how long he took, and how much detail he put in with everything, why wouldn't it also be in the way that he explains it as well? It's going to be simplistic, but there's going to be depth to that simplicity, you know? But Esau lacks that understanding, that genuine knowledge. And so it's not going to be as on point. It's not going to be on point regardless, you know? Because the Lord is, it's like I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. The way that he works is what he says is, and what he doesn't isn't. So you're either correct or you're wrong in this thing. And Esau has been wrong about this from the get-go. So you can't go off of the knowledge that he provides. You got to go and actually learn the Hebrew that'll actually help you guide yourself. Well, that's how the elder apostles broke it down for them. So we rely, we learn from them, and that's what the scriptures say, to make sure that you know who you learn from, you know. And these are men that have proved themselves to learn everything that they possibly can about this, and be actually factual about this, and call out the inconsistencies of Esau, which is what they've been able to do for us. You know, when you look up these breakdowns from the elder apostles, they are studied men. And Esau, they don't move the same way. They take ideas. They don't know how to actually. The only things that they can create is war, really. They only know how to create weapons. All right, the weapons and folly. That's the only things they know how to create. But we, as the salt of the earth, we actually have the understanding, the ability to create, to put beautiful things in the world, because we're made in the image. That image is going into the order. All right. So it's not just, we look like them. No, it's the fact that we have order. All the animals in the world, they didn't have the same likeness. All right. We were made with order inside of this thing. So because we have that order, we have the understanding and a higher way of thinking. You know, the animals and whatnot, they don't really think. They just go off of instinct. It's the direct line to the spirit of, they just move like this. But we have the ability to actually think, move in certain ways. Esau has that ability too, but he doesn't have it to the level of depth that, you know, an Israelite would have. But that's where the apostle elders, they really have broken this thing down for us to properly understand. You know, Lord willing, this was edifying. Just wanted to go over what the other apostles went over a while ago. It's always a beautiful thing to share this thing. If I missed anything, of course, brothers, feel free to let me know. I'm always willing to take in, criticism and whatnot. Just let me know, and I'll make any changes. Lord willing, y'all were edified. Shalom, Yasharallah.